Think about the last time you drove completely alone in the dead of night. Your world shrinks down to the glow of your headlights and the small, brightly lit map on your dashboard. We rely heavily on that GPS technology. That little screen acts as an absolute tether to physical location. We trust it implicitly, often believing the digital route over what our own eyes observe outside the window. In 2021, a man was driving through the Nevada desert. He had been on the road for hours. There were no other cars, there were no streetlights, just complete suffocating darkness. In an environment with zero physical landmarks, the GPS provides the only evidence that a world still exists beyond the reach of the headlights. Then, a physical sign appeared on the side of the road, Exit 23. It was a stark contradiction. His digital route showed nothing but miles of straight, unbroken highway ahead. Normally, that discrepancy would make a driver hesitate. But exhaustion is a powerful physical override. He was exhausted, desperately needed a break from the road, and let his physical needs overrule the digital tether. He took the exit. Almost immediately, the physical space around his car began to distort. The road curved sharply and narrowed severely. Even the mechanical hum of his engine felt heavy, as if the sound was being actively swallowed by the air outside. Then his connection to the outside world finally snapped. The GPS screen flickered, the programmed route vanished entirely, and he was left staring at a blank gray grid. By deliberately following a path that did not exist in the data, he severed his connection to physical geography. He was now driving forward entirely blind. A few minutes down that unmapped road, a building materialized out of the dark. It was an old gas station, fully powered and humming with bright lights, standing alone in an impossible stretch of empty desert. There were zero cars or signs of life. He pulled in and killed the engine. The moment the car went quiet, a massive wave of sensory deprivation hit him. The silence of the desert was absolute, heavy, and deeply oppressive. The front door to the shop was propped wide open, so he stepped inside. The shelves were fully stocked, the refrigerators hummed, but the room was empty. Then a bell rang. He turned around to find that the door he hadn't touched was now firmly closed. Spaces like this operate entirely on nightmare logic. They project a perfect illusion of a functional, safe environment for one specific reason: to lure a traveler inside and lock them in. His chest tightened. He noticed a large mirror mounted on the wall directly behind the cash register. When he looked into the glass, the physical rules of the room fractured completely. In the real world, he was standing alone. But in the reflection, the store was densely packed with people, standing shoulder to shoulder, silently watching him. He whipped around to the empty room, then back to the glass. They were closer now. Their statue-like stillness broke as wide, physically impossible smiles stretched across their faces. The barrier between the two spaces collapsed entirely when one of the reflected figures raised an arm and pointed directly at the entrance. In the real world, behind him, the heavy glass door violently swung wide open. He sprinted blindly out the door, threw himself into his car, slammed his foot on the gas, and tore back down the dark road toward the highway. The reflection proved that his physical surroundings were no longer under his control. He was hunted by something that could manipulate his world while remaining entirely invisible to it. Back on the main highway, his breathing finally slowed. The GPS screen flickered to life, the normal route reappeared, and his digital anchor reestablished its connection to the real world. He rationalized the unexplainable terror as a brief, intense hallucination, a trick played by an overworked mind in the dark. This animated diagram tracks his actual GPS coordinates from that night. Look at the trajectory. The digital history clearly proves the car drove in a perfectly straight line the entire night, without a single turn or detour. The spatial data carries a horrifying implication. Exit 23 and the glowing gas station did not exist in physical space. The car literally never left the interstate. Then the silence inside his car was breached. The radio slowly powered on entirely on its own, filling the cabin with a low hum of static. A voice cut through the white noise. It was soft, impossibly close, whispering two short sentences. "You stopped. We're still here." His hands tightened on the steering wheel. He glanced up into his rearview mirror and saw them, sitting quietly in the back seat, smiling, waiting. The gas station acted as a bridge. By turning off the engine and stepping inside, He provided the opportunity for those entities to cross over from the reflection and into his seat. Breaking the boundaries of the known map operates strictly in one direction. Taking an unmapped exit doesn't just trap you, it crosses over, climbs into the car, and